Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jussi Solaranta, and I am the CEO of CORSAIR Group. CORSAIR Group is a company founded in 2020 with its head office located in Bangkok, Thailand, and European office located in the Netherlands. As a company, we today employ approximately 100 people worldwide, and we focus on developing long-term effective solutions to tackle the global plastic waste crisis. I'm not going to take too much of your time on talking about this plastic waste problem that we are facing internationally, but I would like to mention a couple of eye-opening figures. First one is that the global production of new plastic has now reached an annual volume of nearly 500 billion kilos a year. To put that number into perspective, if you calculate the total weight of all the humans on the planet, that total weight is less than the amount of plastic that is produced in 1 year alone. This means that we are now at a stage where in one single year, we are producing more new plastic products in weight than the entire weight of the humanity. What is even worse about that is that 95% of all of this plastic that is being produced ends up into the landfills, leaking into the oceans, or being burned without being properly recycled. To make matters even worse, it is being projected that the production of new plastic will now triple during the next 30 years. So that means that we urgently need to develop more effective infrastructure to recycle this plastic waste. We as a company started our operations here in Thailand in August 2020, when we took over an already existing plastic waste chemical recycling plant in Bangkok, which since then we have been improving and developing to meet industrial operating standards. In this facility, we have now for more than 3 years on a day-to-day basis been converting plastic waste, such as, for example, plastic bags, wrapping materials, and all kinds of packaging products, into advanced bio-oil, also called pyrolysis oil. What might become as a surprise to some is that all of these plastic products that we are using on a daily basis have originally actually been made from crude oil coming from the ground. So what we are doing is we're actually taking this plastic garbage, and by using these advanced recycling methods, we are able to convert that plastic from its existing form into liquid form, which is the oil. This oil can then be used as a raw material, either to produce fuels like gasoline and diesel, or most importantly, it can also be used as a raw material to produce new, more environmentally friendlier plastic products. If we take, for example, 100 kilos of plastic waste, we are able to convert that 100 kilos into as much as 90 liters of oil. So this process is not only extremely efficient, but it's also environmentally friendly. At our facility in Bangkok, which we are continuously expanding, we are aiming to, within 2025, to be able to process as much as 2 million kilos of plastic waste per month, and from that generate more than 1.5 million liters of oil, which is then being sold to our offtake partners in the petrochemical industry to be used for the manufacturing of new recycled plastic products. Now, where do we get our plastics? We have a few main sources, out of which the most important one would be our operations based here in Thailand, located in the province of Sakeo. CORSAIR, approximately 3 years ago, under a government contract, took over the management of a Thai government-owned waste management facility and landfill. This landfill used to be a hole of about 20 meters deep. But as you can see, it has now been accumulating as much as 50 million kilos of garbage. And that hole has now grown to become a mountain of plastic waste. Here in Thailand, we unfortunately are still lacking a proper waste management infrastructure where garbage would be separated at the source to different streams. And therefore, at this facility, we receive tons and tons and tons of mixed domestic waste coming from the local communities, where everything is going into one bin. And our team then separates this waste into different waste streams, taking away the plastic, separating the bio-waste and any remaining fractions of, for example, metal and glass and such. These plastics are then being processed, they are being washed, shredded, and dried. And then from there, they are being taken to our plastic waste recycling facility in Bangkok, where that plastic is then being converted into oil. Here you can see our team working to process this plastic waste, which is then being eventually recycled into oil. Additionally to our operations in the waste management, we also have established our own plastic waste collection program. During this last 2 years, we have established here in Bangkok more than 150 plastic waste collection points. This means that we have installed these blue color CORSAIR plastic waste collection bins in collaboration with the largest shopping centers, international hotels, hospitals, apartment buildings, car dealerships, and many other locations. We've established our own plastic waste collection network where the customers and tenants and guests can now place the plastic waste directly into the bins, which are then being collected by the CORSAIR team every couple of days and then taken to our facility to be recycled into oil. In this way, the plastic waste is not mixed up with all the other garbage and doesn't end up the landfill first, from where we would then need to collect it. But instead, it can now be processed much more efficiently. As an example of the many collaborative programs and partnerships that we've established over the last 2 years, here is a short video, which you will also find from our YouTube channel, about a collaboration that we recently formed together with the largest private hospital chain here in Thailand, called Bangkok Dusit Medical Services, or the BDMS, where there more than 60 hospitals in the country and in the region are now part of a program where BDMS is becoming the first plastic neutral hospital chain in the world. This has been achieved by using our plastic waste collection program, as explained earlier, and also as a part of BDMS beginning to use the CSR plastic credit issued and developed by CORSAIR. Additionally to these programs, we have also launched a very exciting initiative called Catching Plastic. As a part of this program, we have now involved more than 100,000 fishermen here in Thailand who, while doing their normal fishing work, unfortunately attract a lot of plastic waste stuck in their nets. What you can see here in the following clip in the video is something that was filmed by the fishermen themselves when they are pulling up these nets. And you can just see how much plastic waste is coming there in a matter of few seconds. Normally, the fishermen would just throw all this plastic back into the water. But now, as a part of our collaboration, CORSAIR pays for the fishermen for every kilo of plastic that they collect and they bring it to the shore. By doing this, the fishermen are now earning an extra income by not only catching fish, but also from catching plastic. CORSAIR, on the other hand, receives now a nicely washed plastic raw material, and most importantly, as a result of this collaboration, there is less plastic waste now in the oceans. This is a program, an initiative that we hope to be expanding globally as soon as possible to include more and more and more fishermen from around the world. Additionally to our operations here in Thailand, CORSAIR is also at this very moment expanding into Europe, where we have taken over in Finland a section of a recently shut down paper manufacturing plant. The L-shaped building here on the left is our first production facility in Europe, where we have just now in December 2023 completed the installation of our first plastic waste recycling unit. This unit is becoming operational now in the beginning of January 24 and will then begin to convert plastic waste into oil. Our target is that this facility here over the next 3 to 4 years will grow into becoming a hub of plastic recycling, being capable of processing more than 60 million kilos of plastic waste annually to more than 45 million liters of oil. This oil will then be supplied to our offtake partners in Europe, and they will then use this oil in the manufacturing of new plastic products. As a company, we are aiming to expand globally. Our 2030 target is to be operational all over the world and to bring our modular solution into every corner of the planet where plastic waste is a problem. Unfortunately, that covers most of our planet. Our 2030 target is that by then we are capable of processing as much as 1.5 billion kilos of plastic waste annually, while producing more than 1 billion liters of oil annually. As you can see, we have a lot of work ahead of us, but together, working as a team, we are able to achieve this. For that, I am absolutely certain of. We also are in a very fortunate situation where the new regulations and laws are very much supporting our mission. One of these is a new regulation established by the European Union, where the plastic manufacturers are now, for the first time in history, by law, obligated to take responsibility of the plastic waste that they create. This new regulation, which will come in effect in 2025, now requires the plastic manufacturing companies to use at least 30% recycled raw material in the manufacturing of new plastic products. This is truly a game changer, and we foresee the demand for our oil to be continuing to increase over the next coming years as more and more regulations are coming into play. Also, more than 140 countries have recently signed an agreement with the United Nations to begin to establish and create regulations and laws to obligate companies who create plastic pollution, like many of the big brands around the world, to also begin to take responsibility of their plastic waste under the so-called EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility structures. As a company, we have also been extremely fortunate to be receiving a lot of media attention. During the last 12 months alone, CORSAIR and our mission to clean the environment from plastic waste has been featured in more than 500 different media outlets. Now, moving to another important part of our operations. CORSAIR in 2021 created and launched its own version of plastic credit called CSR. CSR plastic credit is a digital receipt which proves that plastic waste has been removed from the environment. In other words, every time when CORSAIR or one of our collaborational partners collects a kilo of plastic waste from the environment, this work is then being documented, verified, and audited. And based on that work, CORSAIR will issue and release into the distribution an equal amount of CSR plastic credits. Each CSR plastic credit represents 100 grams of plastic waste removed from the environment. In other words, every kilo of waste collected from the environment will allow CORSAIR to distribute 10 CSR plastic credits into the circulation. The CSR plastic credit is the leading plastic credit in the world today, and it is also the only plastic credit program which operates on a public blockchain. The CSR plastic credit functions and is based on the Ethereum blockchain, the second most popular blockchain in the world, which allows the CSR the utmost transparency and public accountability. CSR is also the only plastic credit in the world which is currently listed and traded on multiple digital asset exchanges. Talking about plastic credits in general, as mentioned before, more and more regulations are being put in place at this very moment. And many of the large brands like Nestle, Unilever, Pepsi, and Microsoft, to name a few, have already started using plastic credits as a way for them to take responsibility of their plastic waste footprint. Right now, these initiatives are still voluntary, but as mentioned before, it is now only a matter of time when they will become mandatory by law. We have also seen already, for example, in the United States, just in November 2023, how the state of New York sued Pepsi company for the plastic waste that they are creating and for not taking proper responsibility and care of this plastic waste that they distribute into the environment. You can expect to see more and more and more regulation coming into place, and eventually every company in the world that generates plastic pollution will have to contribute into the collection and cleaning of that plastic waste from the environment. This is where CORSAIR and the CSR plastic credit comes into play. The CSR plastic credit allows companies to become plastic neutral. This is made by the company using the CSR plastic credit to eliminate from the environment an equal amount of plastic waste that they as a company generate or their products generate. In the most simplest way, what we would do with many companies is we would calculate together the amount of plastic waste that their packaging creates annually. And then by the use of the CSR plastic credit, the company can now remove from the environment the matching amount of plastic. And then as a process, as a result of that, become plastic neutral. Here's an example of a local brand here in Thailand who recently removed the matching amount of plastic waste from the environment and what their product packaging generates. And therefore, the plastic neutrality label is now included in all of their packaging. We have created also a plastic neutrality certification program where the companies will be able, after removing their plastic waste footprint, to use this certification as part of their sustainability reporting and also then naturally in their environment. Based on a number of studies, we've seen that more than 80% of consumers, when giving the choice, would like to choose a product where they know that a company behind it is doing something good for the environment. And right now, that offers a great and very unique competitive angle for any company or any business who chooses to become plastic neutral with the CSR plastic credit. As a company, we are looking to expand our operations globally. And the only way to do this in a proper and efficient way is through meaningful and important partnerships. We would therefore like to collaborate with all like-minded individuals, companies, and organizations who share our passion to clean the environment from plastic pollution and to save our environment for the future generations. It is my absolute pleasure to give you this short introduction about our company, and I very much thank you for your interest and for your time. Looking forward to speaking with you again soon. Thank you.